Hello, I'm Danielle Mercurio, helping you nail down your purpose so you can go ahead and live the fabulous life you were meant to create. I want to talk a little bit about this idea of setting intentions around your visions. So many of us have goals and ideas and things that we want to implement, but sometimes what happens is we get so caught up in the goal setting, in the taking action, in the what we think we're supposed to do to make our goals happen, that we lose sight of our original vision. We forget why we wanted to do the things that we want to do in the first place. And so I want us to notice if we're getting burned out or tired or exhausted or feel like you're overrun by the things that you're trying to create in your life, and to see if there's been a disconnect between what you originally started with and where you are now. So often when we're implementing things like starting our own business, becoming an entrepreneur, on a weight loss journey, maybe it's dating, whatever it may be, as we get further into the situation, sometimes we start to get hit by other people's opinions. We start to look at the other ways that people have done things, and we start to get a little muddled with our original idea and what other people are doing. And sometimes it can make us feel like we're not enough. It makes us go into the peer fear or comparison game, and it distracts us from our original intention and from the great idea that you had in the first place. So in order to get all the noise, all of the chaos out of the way, you've got to get back to your original vision. So if you're feeling lost or confused or feeling like you've completely lost sight of why you're even doing what you're doing, I want you to go back to the thought of, who were you before anyone or anything told you otherwise? Who were you when you were the OG, the original gangster of your life? What were the feelings that you had in that moment when you had that original idea? What was the driving force behind this desire? Why? Sometimes we get so caught up in the doing and the execution, we forget the why. And so I want you to go back to this notion. Who was I before I got caught up in all the things? And why did I have that idea? So for me, I could look at my life when I first set out to be a life coach 5 years ago. Well, my life has changed a lot since that first intention 5 years ago of wanting to be a coach. But what always stays the same is that intention of my why. The reason why I became a coach was because I know what it's like to feel boxed in. I know what it's like to feel confused. I know what it's like to feel like you don't have a choice or you don't have an opportunity to channel your greatness. I became a coach to give people that permission to channel their greatness, to be able to go outside the box, to realize that they have a choice in their life. And so whenever I get caught up in the community or social media or all the things, I go back to my why. Why are you doing this? I'm doing this because I want to empower people to move into their something greater, to step out of the box and move into the life they've always known they were meant to live. And so I encourage you to do the same, to take out a piece of paper or journal this later and write down, who was I before anyone else told me otherwise? And what is the why that is connected to that? And start to journal and start to see what happens. Because sometimes what can happen is, as we carry forth with our goal, with our idea, with our vision, we sometimes can lose a little bit of the authentic edge. Especially if you're in a community where you are an entrepreneur or a nutritionist, or you have a lot of competition, or you have a lot of colleagues in your space. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to play the game that the game actually plays us. And we stop being authentic. And instead we start pretending, or we start doing what we think we're supposed to do, or we start to focus too much on the people we're trying to help and trying to figure out how you can serve their need. And that gets wonky too. There was a time where I was trying to manipulate how I could coach my ideal clients so that I would have clients, but they weren't really my ideal clients. They were just people that needed help, even though I wasn't the right person to help them. And so I had to get back into my authentic truth and say, who am I here to authentically, genuinely help in this world? How does it relate to my why? And how can I move it forward? And once I did that, I stopped pretending to be the know-it-all. I stopped pretending to think that I could serve everybody at once. And instead realized that by trying to help everybody, by trying to pretend I was something that I wasn't, I was diluting my own greatness. I was diluting my own ability to serve in the best way that I know how. And I know that I work really well with individuals that may be feeling burnt out or overwhelmed from their self-help journey and just want to show up and serve and help in this world. And that's who I'm here to help, because again, it connects me to my why. You stepping out of the box, you stepping into your greatness. You see how when you go back to your why, you go back to your authentic truth. You go back to who you were when you were the OG of your life. So I encourage you, when you are feeling like, oh no, I don't know where I'm going, I'm confused, I'm scattered, I'm all over the place, who am I? Ask yourself, who was I before all of this, before all of the things? And then start to connect to that idea of why you wanted to do it in the first place. Another thing that you can do to help yourself recognize that you stand out when it comes to comparison or looking at other people is to really hone in on how you shine in the role that you do. Yes, there may be other experts or people that are facilitating what it is that you do, but where do you really shine? And I want you to journal that out as well. I shine in my role as coach, entrepreneur, teacher, parent, in these ways. This is how I shine. This is how I show up. And then I want you to write out how you're hiding. How do you hide in that role? How do you play small? How do you hold back? And I want you to notice how that makes you feel. Do you feel better when you're shining in your role? Or do you feel better when you're hiding in your role? Most likely, you are best able to serve when you shine. So I want you to take all of these tools. I want you to take the notion of who were you before anyone else told you otherwise. I want you to take the notion of your why. And I want you to take the items in where you shine. And I want you to set an intention around how you wish to move forward in this original space of who you are. In this space of who you are before anyone else told you otherwise. In this space of channeling your own unique gifts and greatness that you have to present to the world. What kind of intention do you want to set around that? What plan of action do you want to take to make sure that you're not moving forward with the things that are making you hide, and instead plotting ahead with the things that make you shine? The things that you shine from are your desires. They are the things that you want to be 100% engaged in. They are the things that you want to take on so holistically that they can't help but manifest into your world. Plan to have support and accountability structured around the areas where you do want to shine, and use those as opportunities to create more momentum in the action that you are taking forward. So I believe so much in taking time to scale back, to allow yourself to go back to your original vision, to see why you're doing exactly what it is that you're doing, to see where you've been shining and to see where you've been hiding, and then set intentions around how you wish to move forward from the original why, from that true inherent space of your greatness, of your intention. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found wisdom of nuggets or what am I talking about? If you found a nugget of wisdom, go ahead and comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and share this out with someone that may find it helpful. In the next part of this video training, we're going to talk a little bit more about the belief, because it's really important for us to get into the why to really understand our greatness and why it is that we're doing the things that we are intending to do, but we've also got to believe it. We also have to know that we are of value, and we also have to know that we are worth it. So stay tuned for video number 2 to understand more about how you can accept the things that you must believe and value the worth and who you are. See you soon.